Hello everyone, Joseph Radzwion IV, your trusted attorney with Radzwion Law PLLC. Today talking to you about a topic that was brought to my attention not too long ago by one of my neighbors. They were proceeding to tell me about how the public schools in the area are dealing with students who may or may not have come in contact with someone who is sick, who may or may not have attended an event that they shouldn't have attended, who maybe had too many people or weren't social distancing, who may or may not have symptoms of some illness. Okay, so all of that, I'm saying that because it's the most ridiculous thing that these students are going to be asked all these questions they may not even know the answer to, but they're going to be, essentially required or asked to answer these questions that inevitably are going to get them in trouble. And here's what I mean by trouble. The teachers have already said, you're going to go home for 10 days, no questions asked. You're just going to go home. We're going to quarantine you. And on top of that, we're not going to put lessons online. You won't be able to do any of your work. You'll fall behind for 10 days, and then you'll be required when you come back to make it up. Okay? This is not acceptable. This is not a free America that we live in. Students should not be forced to be choosing between who they hang out with, where they go, and, what they have to come back to school and then make up 10 days worth of work. It's just unacceptable. They're already behind from last year, all right? They've already been punished enough by the school system, by the government. So I'm saying all this to remind everyone that there is an easier way to deal with this. And that is when a public servant, it doesn't have to be a police officer, it doesn't have to be a judge or a prosecutor, any public official, any public servant, like a school teacher, a public high school teacher, right? A principal, a superintendent, asks you to answer their question, you can say, you know what, I'm going to respectfully not answer that question. I don't have to do so. All right. And if they say, well, why? You can say, well, because under the Fifth Amendment, I have the right to remain silent. I do not have to answer your question. You could do even a simple phrase like, you know what, Mrs. Johnson, I'm gonna remain silent here. I don't answer questions like that. You can call my mom or my dad if you really want to know more. But you as a parent need to be ready to deal with that situation. And really the answer is the same. You know what? I'm going to remain silent here. I'm not going to answer that question because it's not for my benefit. It really isn't. Me being quarantined at home for 10 days and fall behind in school and maybe even fail a grade. Some students really struggle in school, and this is not going to help them. So I would highly encourage you to sit down if you have a high school student or a public school student, or share this video and say, look, these are the things that we need to be prepared for. We need to be prepared to exercise our Fifth Amendment right. It's there for a reason. This is one of those times. If a public servant is asking you questions, you can just say, I'm going to remain silent. I don't answer questions like that. Call my mom or dad, okay? Or call my attorney even. Some of these schools, they're going to get crazy. The policies are not for the benefit of the kids. And I say that because it's all allegedly. It's all may or may not. You may or may not have attended an event. You may or may not have had contact with someone. It's absolutely absurd. It's not your job to answer those questions. They need to prove their case, or they need to present evidence against you in order to make a judgment call to send your kid home for 10 days. Okay? So just keep that in mind. The phrase is, you know what, I'm going to remain silent. I don't answer questions like that. Call my mom or dad. That's as simple as it gets. And have your kids practice it at home. Have them be ready to answer that question, because it's going to be coming. And answering it is not for their benefit. So if you have questions, leave them in the comments below. Sorry for making this a little bit longer than normal. But I want everyone to be educated. I hate to see these kids be put through the ringer any more than they already have. So leave comments below and share this video. Get it out there. Facebook and YouTube are really suppressing I call them free, or like the For Freedom series videos here, because they don't want people to know their rights. And just hitting the like button is not enough anymore. You really, I never say this, but the YouTube algorithms and the Facebook algorithms, you got to leave comments. That's how it gets videos like this in front of more people. And, you know, there it is. So stay safe out there, everyone, and we'll see you next time.